Greetings to all. Hope I'm audible. If not, kindly connect your devices to your wired or wireless earphones to improve the audio experience. I've just started the content creation on YouTube. This is my first video, so I've not invested much on the mic and the stylus pen part. Before starting this video, I have a short disclaimer. I'm no professional in this field, and at the moment, I'm just an ordinary student like most of us here, hoping to achieve our goals in the future. I've created this channel just to share my experience so that like-minded individuals could benefit from this. The most frequent question that any cadet or student arises is how to become a pilot in India. I've just gathered this information through browsing on the internet and watching other YouTube channels. From this, I've just shorted it down so that it could be simplified to you. Initially, you'll have to get your medicals done, which is class 2 and class 1. First, you'll have to get your class 2 done, followed by class 1. Class 2 costs around 5 to 8k, 5 to 8k, depending on the region you're situated at and the hospital, whether it's an AFO station or a private hospital. You'll also have to have your higher secondary grade, which is your 12th standard. You'll have to have maths and physics in it with a minimum of 50% marks. Followed by, you'll have to either join a ground school or a flying school. Usually people join a ground school followed by a flying school because they consider it to be a safer option, since you'll clear most of your DGC exams in prior, and then you'll invest the major sum of money that goes towards flying. Whereas few instructors prefer the students to do it simultaneously because they'll have both practical and theoretical knowledge simultaneously. After which, type rating is done depending on the market requirement. Most of them go for the Airbus A320, whereas others go for the Boeing. And then followed by airline training. Airline training is subject to the organization. Few of them charge upfront and few of them just deduct from your salary, so make you sign a bond. It depends on the scenario and time. So to go with the cost, as mentioned earlier, class 2 medicals will cost you anywhere around 4 to 8k or 5 to 8k. Then class 1 will cost you around 12 to 20k. This is just numbers from my vision. Since I've done this, I have a outline or a gist of this. And grade to 12, if you don't have maths and physics in your 12th standard, you have to go through NIOS board. You can give a try anytime. Ground school, most of them go for Dwaraka, Delhi. That depends from institute to institute. At an average, for all the subjects together, they may charge you around 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs only for tuition fee, and per month maybe 15 to 20k for accommodation in a PG. That I'm not sure with. It varies from place to place and person to person. Flying school, again, these 200 hours you'll have to complete your DGC exams as well as this 200 hours to get your CPL license. This might cost you anywhere from 35 to 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs depending upon the instrument rating and the multi-engine rating you will be doing. So that goes around 50 lakhs approximately. And then type rating goes for 25 lakhs and airline training goes for 15 lakhs. So on a safer side, it's always safe to have around 1 crore in conventional method, and just considering the worst case scenario. However, for cadet pilot program, it's a different case altogether, where I think Indigo at Chimes is the starting price itself is around 95 lakhs, and they have more than around 5-6 flying schools tie up all over the globe, which might go even more higher since it's from abroad and you'll have to do your conversion later. So as mentioned earlier about ground schools in detail, you'll have to, there are around five DGCA subjects. 5 DGCA subjects, out of which I list them out for you. You'll have, sorry, regarding my stylus. Navigation, air regulation, meteorology, technical general and technical specific. Technical specific, at the end you'll have to do it after joining the flying school depending on the aircraft you're flying for your CPL. Whereas navigation, air regulation, meteorology and technical general are suggested to be cleared before joining the flying school. Along with this, all these comes under the regulatory body of DGCA, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, which comes under the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Whereas there's one more exam which comes under Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, known as RTR-A. And then you'll have your ELP, which you can do at the later part if you're not from a English speaking country. So majorly people go for ground classes for navigation, technical general and RTR. Navigation costs around 1 lakh at a permanent institute in Delhi. This also goes around 90,000. Sorry about my pen again. 90,000, and this goes around 50,000 only for tuition fees. Most of them study air regulations and meteorology on their own and save up to 1 lakh including both. Each go for 50k if you have to do them in separately. So you'll save around 1 lakh if you study the subjects on your own. For air regulation you have to go through RK Bali, and for meteorology IC Joshi. Going forward, I'd like to give an outline about RTR-A in specific. For RTR-A, which is conducted by RTR-A is conducted by Wireless Planning and Coordination Wing under the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. It consists of two parts, Part A and Part B, or Part 1 and Part 2, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 is the transmission test, and Part 2 is the Viva. In the transmission test, there are around 40 to 50 question papers by WPC. 40 to 50 or even 60 maybe. So only if you join a ground school you'll have more idea on this. And each question paper typically consists of 5 use case scenarios or situations which you'll have to solve within a time span of 25 minutes. So 5 question, 25 minutes, and the passing percentage is 50%, a cutoff of 50%. So in this exam you'll act as a pilot and the examiner will act as the ATC. You'll be in a stimulated radio conversation where you'll have your headsets on. which will be provided by them. You don't have to worry about it. While transmitting, you'll have to write as well as read out the message loud, so that the examiner would listen to your message as well as write. So the words per minute you'll have to talk is also monitored there. And this exam is kind of challenging because this is not like the other DGC exams, which is of MCQ pattern, where you'll have 50 questions, each question comprising of 2 marks, total of 100, and pass percentage is 70. In this you'll have 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. In part 1 you'll have to get 50%, and in Viva you'll have to clear the round. Viva round has 2 members in the panel, one from WPC and one from DGCA. Together they evaluate your process. Further going on, WPC conducts this exam 6 times a year. It's mainly conducted in the metropolitan cities of our nation, which is Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai and Hyderabad. So in 2 months once it conducts in one of these cities. This exam goes for around a month. You will be given a date and you'll have a time slot, either morning or afternoon. You'll come and attend the exam at the allocated center. Furthermore, to add on, sorry for the interruption. Actually, there was a rule passed by the parliament regarding this RTR-A examination, where they were trying to pass a bill stating that this examination has to go under DGCA because of systematic problems with WPC with this exam. So this transformation would take a lot of time. At least in today's date it may take around 6 months, because for the year of 2024 it's definitely under WPC. Next year we are not sure, because they'll have to release cars and then put the rule out into public notice, and then they'll have to change the pattern. Right? There are also rumors that once it goes under DGCA, the process might be more student friendly, because like mentioned earlier, you'll have part 1 and part 2. At moment, even if you clear part 1 and don't clear part 2, you'll have to again attempt from scratch. That means you'll have to again give the written examination. Whereas in case if it goes under DGC or any rule from the government changes, there might be a change where even if you don't clear part 2, next time you'll just attempt for part 2 or not again from the start. So that would save a lot of time for students and more focused preparation towards each part. So I hope you are clear to this. If not, please do put your concerns in the comment section, or can DM me. I'll give my ID in the description. So most of you might be wondering why RTR is significant, or why do we need RTR-A. In short, RTR-A, if in case you'll have to understand the significance of RTR-A, you'll have to understand the term communication. One minute. So to understand the term communication, it's defined as the process that includes exchange of information or message by means of either speaking, writing, or using body languages or actions that a normal human has. Each set has its own set of advantages and disadvantages. Let me write it down for you. speaking or so either it's writing, speaking or actions. You'll all have a basic idea of or own overview of all of these types. In speaking, the advantage is that it's fast. In writing, it's accurate. In actions, it's universal. But the disadvantages are in speaking, the chances of misinterpretation or errors are high, and the chance of miscommunication. In writing, the disadvantages is the time, and actions is that you'll have to have physical appearance or you'll have to be present in the eyesight of the other party. Actions are mostly used in aviation for signaling or by lights or the marshal for parking the aircraft, whereas speaking is used by ATCs. Writing, on the other hand, is used mostly or text. By writing, I meant text. The text form of communication is used in long haul flights or international flights because the system that's required for the communication is a bit costly. So mostly domestic or the low carriers don't prefer the text communication. They go for the speaking. So for the purpose of speaking, we use something called the radio, which has a lot of variations, right from ultra low frequency way and for aviation we'll have to mostly concentrate on very high frequency and high frequency. In domestic, mostly very high frequency oil is used because of its short range, whereas if it crosses 300 nautical miles we'll go for high frequency. But the problem with high frequency is that there's a lot of static interference that occurs. To understand in depth, we'll have to understand the atmosphere or the ionosphere in specific. For very high frequency, the bandwidth used ranges from 118 to 137 megahertz. 137 megahertz, whereas the typical, this is just the range used for aircraft communication in under, this is 8 under VHF, whereas the entire carrier band of VHF ranges from 30 to 300. With respect to HF, the usage ranges from around 3 to 30 megahertz. For aircraft communication, maybe around 3.28502 22,000 kilohertz. So you might ask, why do we use RTR-A in specific? For that, you'll have to know the full form of RTR-A. please work. It stands for radio, telephone, restricted, aero, mobile. Radio, we all know the radio waves, it represents the radio waves, whereas telephony is a Greek word which means far and communication. Restricted aeromobile means this exam is restricted to the communication of aircrafts with radio or the speaking part, so it doesn't represent the text or the pointing part, only for the aircrafts or the aeromobiles in the aviation industry. So that's why the term restricted is used. You might ask, why do we have to study this much or a separate exam for this? The main reason is to understand the aviation phrases used. Aviation phrases and know exactly what the ATC wants from us. Understand ATC requirement, and the end goal is to reduce the radio occupancy time. Radio occupancy time. I hope till now everything is clear. With this, I would like to end my video. I am really sorry for the voice and the stylus pen. I can't do anything at the moment. I'll have to compromise and adjust with it. Thank you.